Good morning, everybody. I am Pravina from SNGCT Payyanur. I am here to present some topic about optical communication. First of all, we will discuss the first module topic: what is communication, what is optical communication, and what is a block diagram, and what are its advantages and disadvantages. That is the topics that I am going to discuss today. Okay. First of all, we can start with what do you mean by communication? The term communication refers to the transfer of information from one point to another. The arrangement required for establishing a communication link between two distinct points is called communication system. So you know that communication is the transfer of information between one point to another, and this system that is arranged for establishing communication between two distinct points is called a communication system. The figure below shows the block diagram of the communication. It consists of a message source, transmitter, transmission channel, receiver, and message distribution. The message produced by the source is superimposed into a high frequency carrier. That high frequency carrier is an electromagnetic wave, and this process is called modulation, and which is done by the transmitter. That you might have studied in the previous classes, that modulation technique is used in the transmitter in order to strengthen the signal. In that, we are superimposing the message signals over a high frequency carrier signal. The signal is then transmitted through the transmission channel. The channel is a medium that links transmitter and receiver. So the transmitted signal is then given to the transmission channel and it is propagated through the transmission channel. The channel is a medium that links the transmitter and receiver, and channel may be a guided transmission link such as twin wire line, coaxial cable, waveguide, or even an unguided atmospheric or space channel. Okay, there are two types of channel: guided transmission link and unguided atmosphere or space channel. So the modulated signal at the receiver side undergoes what process? Demodulation process, and original message signal is extracted from the modulated signal. So at the receiver side, demodulation occurs so that we will get the original message signal and it is distributed to corresponding location. In some cases, the communication link is established by making use of an electromagnetic carrier which belong to the optical range of frequencies. So this type of communication is called optical communication or light wave communication. Okay. In some cases, the communication link is established by making use of an electromagnetic carrier which belong to the optical range of frequencies. And this type of communication which uses the carrier signals that belongs to the optical range of frequencies is called optical communication or light wave communication. So first of all, we have a look at the electromagnetic spectrum. It is shown in the figure. It consists of different frequencies. We can start with the spectrum which is very low frequencies. First of all, let's start with very low frequency or VLF. It is in the range of 3 into 10 raised to 3 hertz to 3 into 10 raised to 4 hertz, and it is mainly used in telephone or telegraph application. And next is a low frequency or LF. It comes in the range of 3 into 10 raised to 4 to 3 into 10 raised to 5 hertz, and it is mainly used in the aeronautic navigation purpose. And these two frequency ranges uses the channel twin wire transmission line. Okay, twin wire transmission line is used in these frequency ranges. And next is medium frequency or MF. This medium frequency uses frequency range from 3 into 10 raised to 5 to 3 into 10 raised to 6 hertz, and its application is AM radio broadcasting, and the channel used for this purpose is coaxial cable. Coaxial cable is used for this purpose. And next is high frequency or HF. It comes in the range 3 into 10 raised to 6 to 3 into 10 raised to 7. And very high frequency VHF comes in the range 3 into 10 raised to 7 hertz to 3 into 10 raised to 8 hertz. And this frequencies uses the channel coaxial cable. AM, amateur radio, mobile radio, FM radio, VHF, TV, mobile, aeronautics, etc. uses this frequency range. Next is ultra high frequency or UHF. It comes in the range 3 raised to 8 to 3 raised to 9 hertz, and it also uses the channel as coaxial cable, and these frequencies are used by the TV, radar, satellite to satellite communication, microwave, relay and ground to satellite communication, etc. uses this ultra high frequency range. Okay, so next is the super high frequency or SHF. It uses a frequency range 3 into 10 raised to 9 to 3 into 10 raised to 10 frequency hertz frequencies. And next is millimeter wave or mmW. It uses the frequency above 3 into 10 raised to 10. And next is infrared IR region. It uses the frequency range 3 into 10 raised to 11 to 3 into 10 raised to 14 hertz. And in this case, since it is infrared, it is uses the channel free space optical fibers. Free space or optical fibers it is using. The major application are free space communication or optical fiber communication, telephone and data, cable TV, etc. uses this frequency range, or the etc. uses this free space optical fibers. Okay. Next is the visible frequency range and ultraviolet frequency range. It belongs to the range 10 raised to 14 to 10 raised to 15 hertz. This is the overview of the electromagnetic spectrum. So if the communication system uses a frequency range between 10 raised to 11 to 10 raised to 15, so it comes in the light wave regions, so this constitutes the optical fiber communication system. And next we will discuss the what is the general fiber optic communication system, and figure shows a block diagram. It consists of information source, electrical transmitter, optical source, and an optical fiber cable as the channel, and optical detector at the receiver side, and electrical receiver at the receiver side, and then the destination. This is a basic block diagram. Next we can explain this block diagram. The information source provides an electrical signal that is derived from a message signal. Okay, there is an information source. This provides the electrical signal that is derived from a message signal. So the message signal will not be generally in an electrical signal. Okay, so we have to convert this message signal into electrical signals. So examples of message signals are sound, picture, etc. Generally, message origin is from a transducer that converts a non-electrical message into an electrical signal. Common examples of information sources are microphones and video TV cameras. So we can give a message signal through a microphone or a video TV camera. The microphone gives the sound waves and video TV camera gives pictures. Okay, microphones converts sound waves into currents, and video TV cameras converts images into current. So at the place of information source we are using some transducer. Generally that is we are saying that generally message origin is from a transducer that converts a non-electrical message into an electrical signal. Okay, for data transfer between computers, the message is already in electrical form. The electrical signal from the information source is fed to a transmitter, and transmitter contains an electrical stage, that is the modulator, and that it drives an optical source to produce modulation of light wave carriers. That the electrical transmitter can be redrawn, like it consists of modulator and a carrier source and a channel coupler. So the function of the optical source is electrical to optical conversion. That means in the transmitter case there is an optical source, that is a carrier source. So its function is that it converts electrical signal into optical signal. Okay, this is usually achieved with the help of LED or ILD. So this conversion is usually achieved with the help of LED or ILD, and the modulator has two main functions. It converts the electrical message into proper format. It impresses the signal onto the wave generated by the carrier source. Two distinct categories of modulations are used, that are analog modulation and digital modulation. That is, again we can say that there is a modulator. Its function is it converts electrical message into a proper format, and it impresses this message onto the wave generated by the carrier source, which is usually the optical carrier. So modulation takes place there. The two distinct categories of modulations are used, that is analog modulation and digital modulation. And we can explain about the carrier source as carrier source generates the wave on which the information is transmitted. This wave is called the carrier. For fiber optic systems, the laser diode or a light emitting diode is used instead of carrier source. They can be called as optic oscillators. They provide stable signal frequency waves with sufficient power for long distance propagation. So in the case of an optical fiber communication system, there is a carrier source, and that carrier source may be LED or LD that produces lights, and this intensity of the light will be modulated by the original message signal. Okay. Next, there is a channel coupler, and couplers feed the power into information channel. Okay, what is the function of coupler? It couples. That means it feeds the power into the information channel. For an atmospheric optic system, the channel coupler is a lens used for collimating the light emitted by the source and directing this light towards the receiver. The coupler must efficiently transfer the modulated light beam from the source to the optic fiber. It should efficiently couples the modulated signal to the optic fiber channel. Okay, so the design of the coupler is an important part of the optic fiber system because of the possibility of high losses. Okay, so transmitter section includes the modulator, carrier source and channel coupler, and modulator converts the electrical signal into proper format, and carrier source are LEDs or ILD that produces light or carrier signals, and the modulator modulates this carrier signal based on the information signal, so the intensity of the light waves will be varied. That is the modulation process taking place here. And channel coupler couples this modulated signal to the channel or optic fiber medium. The modulated light wave output from the optical source is coupled to the transmission medium consisting of optical fiber cable. The fiber cable contains a group of optical fibers. That means the fiber cable contains a group of optical fibers which are generally long, thin standards of ultra pure glass that provides low loss at transmitting wavelength. Here the transmission medium is shown like as optical fiber cable. It consists of group of fibers. They are very ultra pure glass fibers, so that it will provide low loss at the transmitting wavelength. An optical fiber consisting of two coaxial solid cylinders of slightly different refractive index. The inner solid cylinder is called the core, that has higher refractive index compared to the outer cylinder known as cladding. That means optical fiber has two portions, core and cladding, and the inner cylinder is called core and outer cylinder is called cladding. The inner cylinder has higher refractive index as compared to the outer cylinder, which is called cladding. The optical signal propagates through the fiber by total internal reflection. As the optical signal propagates down the fiber length, it gets attenuated due to absorption, scattering within the fiber, and at the same time gets distorted and broadens because of various dispersion mechanisms. The weak distorted optical signal is received by the receiver at the destination. This is the process that is taking place in the transmission of signals in an optical fiber. So the main components of the receiver is an optical detector, which converts the weak and distorted information bearing optical signal to an electrical signal, and that signal will be the replica of the modulating signal. This signal is then processed by the electrical receiver and output is finally sent to the destination. The optical detectors may be photodetectors or phototransistors. Okay, you got the idea of this block diagram. Mainly it consists of a information source, electrical transmitter, optical source, and an optical fiber cable, then the optical detector, electrical receiver, and then destination. Okay. Next we will discuss about the practical optical communication system. It has some difference as that we have discussed as general optical fiber communication system. In this system we are introducing other components also. It consists of a drive circuit, optical source, and a fiber pigtail, then the optical fiber cable, then there are splices, then beam splitter, terminal equipment, and then optical repeater, optical amplifiers, demountable connection, splice is there, fiber pigtail is there, optical detector at the receiver side there is optical detector and preamplifier, equalizer, decision circuit and signal regenerator. This is a practical optical communication system. Okay, next we will go to the details. As optical communication can be either analog or digital communication. A practical digital optical communication system is shown in this block diagram. It consists of optical transmitter, optical repeater, optical receivers, optical fiber waveguide, connector, splicer, splitter, optical amplifier, etc. The message signals may be in a continuous analog form or in the form of a digital pulses. The message signal is used to modulate the intensity of the optical source with the help of an electrical drive circuit, that is modulator. The manufacturers generally provide optical sources with a small portion of an optical fiber attached to it in an optimum fashion. This is called fiber pigtail fly lead. So in this diagram, as we have discussed earlier, the message signals may be in a continuous analog or digital form, and these message signals are modulated and the carrier is provided by the optical source, and this message signal modulates the intensity of the light produced from the message intensity of the light produced by the carrier. Also in this diagram we can see that there is a fiber pigtail. What is fiber pigtail? Usually the manufacturer generally provide an optical source with a small portion of an optical fiber attached to it in an optimum fashion. This is called fiber pigtail fly lead. That is, fiber pigtail fly lead is a small portion of the optical fiber, and that can be easily plugged in for connection with the line fiber by using a demountable connector. We are using this for easier connection. Okay. Optical signal propagates down the fiber towards the receiver end. While the signals propagates along the fiber, it gets attenuated due to absorption of signals by fiber material. Also, signals get distorted due to dispersion. The weak and distorted optical signal is allowed to travel along the fiber, and before the signals get distorted beyond recognition, it is necessary to have an arrangement to regenerate the signal and also to retransmit the signal. So we can say that it is necessary to have an arrangement to regenerate the signal and retransmit the reconstructed and boosted, and the signal should be boosted to travel further over the transmission link. This is achieved with the help of regenerative repeater. So we are using the regenerative optical repeater in the optical channel. So what is its function? This regenerative repeater regenerate the signal and retransmit the reconstructed and signal and boosted the signal for transmission over long distances. So at the end of the link, the received optical signal is reconverted from optical to electrical for further electrical processing and extraction of the original electrical message signal. And in this diagram you can see that this diagram also shows connectors and splices. Demountable connection is there and also splices is there. Okay. And what are the functions of this connector and splices? Usually these two are used for joining two fibers, and specifically we can say that connectors are generally demountable while the splices provide permanent joints. Both are used to connect the fibers, but its functions are different, such as connectors are demountable while the splices provide permanent joint. Also it is seen that couplers are used. Couplers are in line between that are used at the terminal points to remove a portion of the optical signal from the trunk line at intermediate points or inject additional optical signals onto the trunk. Okay. Couplers are inline bus that are used at terminal points to remove a portion of the optical signals from the trunk line at intermediate points, or it inject additional optical signals onto the trunk. Also optical amplifiers provide, there are optical amplifiers. These optical amplifiers provide online amplification to the propagating optical signals. Such amplifiers are useful for compensating the attenuation caused by the optical fiber. For example, for amplifiers are semiconductor, lasers, or erbium doped fiber amplifier. Semiconductor laser amplifier can be denoted as SLA, or erbium doped fiber amplifier can be denoted as EDFA. Okay, optical communication system may be classified as analog or digital link depending on whether the light wave carrier modulated using an analog or digital information signal. So next we will discuss about the classification of optical communication system. So it consists of two classification: optical analog communication system and digital optical communication system. Okay, so optical communication system may be classified as analog or digital link depending on whether the light wave carrier is modulated using an analog or digital information signal. In analog system, the modulation involves variation of the light emitted from the optical source in a continuous fashion. In digital system, discrete changes in the light intensity are generally used for transmission of light wave carrier. Okay. In analog systems, the modulation involves a variation of the light emitted from the optical source in a continuous fashion. But in digital system, discrete changes in the light intensity are generally used for transmission of light wave carrier. Also, there is another classification that is based on the nature of the communication channel, and that classification is unguided system and guided system. In the case of unguided system, the optical beam emitted by the transmitter or optical signal propagates through air or vacuum. These systems are less suitable for broadcasting applications since optical beam spreads out mainly in the forward direction, hence require accurate pointing between the transmitter and receiver. So we are not using unguided systems because, what is the reason? Because the signal spreads out, so it is very difficult to guide the, it is very difficult to retrieve the original signal from this spreaded nature. Okay, so unguided systems are less using. And next is a guided system. The optical beam emitted by the transmitter remains spatially confined. In the case of guided system, so we are using this guided system. Transmission using optical fibers are guided systems. Okay. Next is the characteristics of the analog optical communication system. Usually the analog optical systems are easier to implement and they are less efficient, and analog systems needs larger signal to noise ratio at the receiver end in order to get the correct signals back. And analog optical links are restricted to use for short distances and low bandwidth operations. Semiconductor sources do not provide good linearity characteristics in the case of analog optical communication system. So as a result of this nature of the analog optical communication system, we are preferring digital optical communication for long and high speed optical links, where analog optical links are restricted to use for short distance and low bandwidth operation. Okay, what is the point? Usually the analog optical links are restricted to use for short distance and low bandwidth operation, whereas digital optical communication is generally preferred over long and high speed optical links. Okay, next we will discuss the advantages of optical fiber communication. The advantages include wider bandwidth, low transmission loss, large information capacity, small size and low weight, dielectric waveguide, enhanced safety and signal security. It is say that optical fiber communication uses wider bandwidth. Optical frequency is in the range of 10 raised to 13 to 10 raised to 15 Hz. Okay, in the electromagnetic spectrum we are familiar with that. It is in the range of 10 raised to 13 to 10 raised to 15 Hz. The information carrying capacity of a transmission system is directly proportional to the carrier frequency of the transmitted signal. So, this optical fiber yields a far greater transmission bandwidth than the conventional communication system and metallic cable system, since it uses high frequency ranges. So the information carrying capacity of a transmission system will be high. Next is the low transmission loss. The fibers having a transmission loss as low as 0.002 dB per kilometer. This transmission loss is extremely low as compared to the copper conductors due to the usage of ultra low loss fibers and erbium doped silica fibers as optical amplifiers. Almost lossless transmission can be achieved. As a result, communication links with a repeater spacing of approximately more than 100 km can be implemented. In modern optical fiber telecommunication system, optical amplification is achieved using erbium doped silica fibers over a short length in the transmission path at a selective capacity. So, what is the conclusion is that the transmission loss in the case of optical communication is very low, and scientifically it is proved that the transmission loss is as small as 0.002 dB per kilometer. In the case of optical communication, we can use low loss fibers and also erbium doped silica fibers as optical amplifiers. So it will encourage low loss transmission. So we can say that low loss transmission will occur in the case of optical fiber. Next point is large information capacity. Usually optical fibers have a wider bandwidth than copper wires, so that more information can be set over a single physical line. So it has got a large information capacity. Next is small size and low weight. Fiber optic cables have a small radii not greater than the diameter of a human hair, and they are flexible, compact and lightweight. The fiber cables can be bent or twisted without damage, hence these are most suitable in aircraft, satellite and even in ships. Next point is dielectric waveguide. That is, we can say that the fiber optic communication system is immune to electrical interference. Optical fibers are made from silica or plastic polymer, which are electrical insulators. Optical fibers are not affected by any interference originating from power cables, railway power lines and radio waves. There is no crosstalk between the fibers in a single cable, as they are electrically isolated from one another. So we can say that it acts as a dielectric waveguide. Okay. Enhanced safety. Next point is enhanced safety. That is the advantages of an optical fiber. We can say that it is often high degree of operational safety. We can say that it will offer high degree of operational safety. They do not have the problem of ground loops, sparks and potentially high voltage inherent in copper lines. However, precautions with respect to laser light emissions need to be observed to prevent possible eye damage. So it will provide enhanced safety because there is no problems of ground loops, sparks and high voltage inherent in copper lines. So we can use it very safely. But however, we have to take precautions with respect to the laser light emissions need to be observed to prevent possible eye damage. Next is the signal security. The signals transmitted through the fibers do not radiate out of the fiber significantly. Signals cannot be tapped from a fiber in a non-invasive manner. Therefore, optical fiber communication provides a high degree of signal security. Hence, it is suitable for military, banking and data transmission application. Next is the disadvantages of optical fiber communication. It includes high cost and signal distribution is a problem, and next difficulty installation and maintenance. These are the disadvantages, and as we are considering the cost as compared to metallic cable based communication system, fiber optic cables and the associated electronic equipments are more expensive. For two-way communication, two fibers are needed instead of just one. The connectors and the equipment needed to install them are more costly than those for copper cable. So the cost is high in the case of optical fiber communication. Next is signal distribution. In metallic cable based communication system, many devices can share the same cable and communicate with each other. In fiber optic cables, this is not practical as the signal transmission and reception are point to point. A central signal distribution device is necessary for interconnection. And next point is difficulty in installation and maintenance. The installation and maintenance of fiber optic system required skilled technicians as compared to metallic cable based communication systems. Next point is sensitivity. Workers dealing with fiber optic cables have to show extreme care not to damage or degrade the performance of the fiber optic communication, because it is very susceptible to mishandling and dirt. So this is a highly sensitive system. These are the disadvantages. Disadvantages include cost, signal distribution, difficulty in installation and maintenance, and sensitivity is very high. And next is the application of fiber optics, and it has got various advantages, applications in communication systems, healthcare systems, offices, and others. As we are considering about communication systems, various communication system uses optical fiber communication, and examples are cable television, TV broadcast, video phones, voice communication over the office, and in the city, voice communication in a city. Local area network uses optical communication fibers, fibers, and satellite ground stations use optical fibers. Internet such as email, video conferencing, web browsing, remote sensing and monitoring, power generation station monitoring, aircraft monitoring, distance learning, access to remote libraries, etc. That is, in most all of the communication fields uses optical fibers. And next is healthcare, endoscopy, remote monitoring of patient, and laser surgery, etc. uses optical fibers. Also biomedical sensing also uses optical fiber communication. And at the offices, laser printers, photocopies, optical scanner, laser pointers, fax machine, overhead slide projector, etc. uses optical fiber or optical fiber communication. Optical fibers, it is not using optical communication, it is only using optical fibers. And next is other things such as CD player, fluorescent lamp, barcode reader, digital camera, etc. uses optical system. Okay, this all are about the general introduction for the optical fiber communication. If you have any doubt, you can ask me directly. Okay, then bye.